Some folks ain't gonna be happy with Mr. Colwell, but it is what it is. We get ready to tell the truth and shame the devil. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Married to Medicine LA. This is season 2, episode 1. Listen, y'all know I love these folks here, so I'm glad to see them back. Y'all know I'm a big old Married to Medicine fan, but, and that's a big but, some folks ain't gonna be happy with what I got to say. It is what it is. Listen, this is my thing. I'm gonna tell you why I always love Married to Medicine is because I always felt they were more authentic than most of what else I was watching as far as reality television goes. Now, there's some business decisions being made here, and I believe that the Atlanta girls are calling themselves helping the LA girls along. But it put my Atlanta girls in such a way where they didn't look good to me. They didn't look good to me, and quite honestly, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I was sitting there, some of the behaviors, I was like, ooh, 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 cringe. Cringe. That was my whole experience for the last 30 minutes of the show. I was cringing the whole time because my people were acting an ass. They were acting an ass, and it pained me to say Toya was on good behavior. Quad and Heavenly were acting a damn mess. They were carrying on. I was like, are you too serious? Carrying on. I love it. I love it. Y'all know I always love Quad. I've literally just fallen in love with Heavenly and her crazy foolishness from us being in the pandemic and watching her every day. She has a YouTube channel and I watch her every day. So I done found a whole new love for Dr. Heavenly. But girl, seriously, you was acting a fool. Acting a fool. Both of y'all need popped on y'all wrists with a bamboo stick. Pop, pop, both of y'all. Anyway, y'all know me. Y'all know I'm going to tell the truth. Whatever it is what I saw. So let's talk about it. Okay, so getting back to the LA girls. And I think, again, they're helping them along to try to get them to stay. Because there was talks about LA being boring and different things like that. But let's not turn it into Love and Hip Hop. If we got to turn it into Love and Hip Hop, let it go. That's just my feelings. Because that ain't the brand. That ain't Married to Medicine. I don't tune in to Married to Medicine to see Love and Hip Hop. I tune in to Mona to see Love and Hip Hop. I don't tune in to y'all to see y'all carrying on like that. And let's provoked. And let's provoked. Like with Lisa Nicole. See, you had to get her. You didn't even give her what I thought you would with Quad. I wanted Quad to tear Lisa Nicole. And and she shouldn't be fighting because that ain't even her thing. Quad gets dressed up pretty and talk a little shit and be shady and move along, and that's what I love about her. But that stuff that went down with her and Lisa Nicole, she threw that drink on her. No, I wanted her to tear her ass up. I wanted her to tear her ass up. And then I wanted Gregory to go and tear up her husband, tear up Darren's ass. But anyway, that's a whole nother story, another time. Anyway, Dr. Brittany, she got her way. She got to stay in LA. Her husband's there and the kids are there. They're in this smaller house. She's happy. They making do. Yeah, she's happy. She's happy. Mac is just making his wife happy. That's basically what it is. But they seem good. Everything seems good. Jasmine. This was definitely the Jasmine episode because I wasn't no fan of Jasmine. That still ain't, Yeah, I ain't doing no backflips about no Jasmine. But I thought Jasmine was an absolute whiny, bitchy dingbat. That was, and I ain't trying to be mean, that's how she came across. A whiny, bitchy dingbat. You know, who just had a lot of money. But we got to actually see Jasmine in her element. She does luxury rentals, and she has this luxury rental property. The house was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But you know, a house is a house is a house. But to see her in her element, actually doing her thing, and because she ended up renting the place to the girls from Atlanta. They came in for Britton's birthday, and they all stayed there at the house. Contessa, Toya, Heavenly, and Quad. And seeing her coming in, working with her people, she really rolled out the red carpet for them. They had masseuses, and they had a staff to cook, and things were being brought in. I mean, she really put on the dog for the girls. And it was nice to see her doing that. And it showed she not really a dingbat. I don't know why things came across that way. When didn't she just have a baby though? When they first came on last season? I think her baby was pretty fresh and brand new. So maybe she wasn't really working as heavy. But whatever, we got to see what she actually does, and it gave me a new respect for Jasmine. But the whiny bitchy Jasmine did show up in that last 30 minutes. So yeah, ain't no biggie. But at least she's not an airhead. She's not an airhead at all. She really isn't. Whiny and spoiled, yes. An airhead, not so much. Dr. Imani, here Phil is in Oklahoma. Now, we all know that the music business is topsy-turvy. The music business is completely different than it's ever been. So he's moved on to do some other things, and that, you know, sometimes to keep the money and shit right, you got to do what you got to do. Phil is in Oklahoma, and he opened a new business. She seems to be fine with it. Like, it doesn't seem to be the issue like how Dr. Britton and Mac had like total issues about them being in different places. Imani and Phil don't seem to have those issues, and even Idris seems to be very well, adjusted to the whole transition and all of that. Because there was a point where she was actually talking to them on the phone on FaceTime and telling them, she was getting ready to take Idris over to her mom's because she had early. Everybody and everything seems to be running very smooth. So that was cool. And then I thought it was real sweet when he told her he missed her and told her, I miss our Saturdays. Like, it wasn't just I miss you. It was he missed something specific about his wife. I thought that was cool. And, that's why I say that I didn't think there was anything wrong with what they got going on, because when Dr. Britton and Mac were talking, it was mostly we seen them like bickering a little bit, and it was more Mac bickering than Britton. But it was what's missing and that kind of thing. The conversation was different. But again, we only see a little piece of their life, so we don't know if this is episode 1. If there's issues, it will show up. But everything seems to be fine from here. Let's see. So the ATL ladies arrive. They get there. Like I said, they stayed in the gorgeous house that belonged to Jasmine. Heavenly was like the first one that basically came out, and she stated in her confessional that she had misjudged Jasmine, and so did I. She stated that in her confessional. Now what she did do is first of all, Heavenly's attitude was off. Her attitude was off. She was on one. I said, is Heavenly on her goddamn period or something? What is going on? She seemed, her attitude had a little funk to it. Like everything that I saw with Heavenly, she seemed irritated, like she really didn't want to be there, actually. But anyway, she shaded the shit out of Toya. She said that Jasmine is the real version of what Toya be trying to be over in Atlanta. I said, I said, baby, that's going to be all over Twitter. It's going to be a whole mess. I said, oh, damn, Heavenly. So she was started, but I saw something with Heavenly. Something, she just seemed like she didn't want to be there or something. Something just wasn't right. She was in messy mode, and I picked it up from the time they got off the plane. I picked up Heavenly's ass was in messy mode. Anyway, so we saw their first day. Well, the next day, because they came in, it was evening. The next day, they come in, and Heavenly went with Imani, and they went hiking, and the rest of them went to Venice Beach. And that was like kind of a, they mentioned it, and it was kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. Her and Imani are cool. And then that's when we found out that Imani and Heavenly really been kind of keeping up with each other, and they forged a friendship since last year. But I already knew that from watching Heavenly in the morning, that her and Imani were cool. So they put that out there. Britain actually went to work. She was like, child, y'all on vacation. I ain't on vacation. I gotta go to work. So she went to work. Then, listen, I gotta do it. Heavenly girl, sorry, not sorry, sis. It is what it is. I got a job to do, and you understand. Like I understand that job you do, you understand the job I do. I'm going to shade the shit out of you. Anyway, Heavenly, look at this, y'all. Heavenly, if you don't get your ass somewhere and sit down. Why? Why? Why are you in LA with track showing? Why? You knew, and that ain't nothing but Bravo shading the shit out of you, because you knew that there are 900 of me out here who were going to catch it, and somebody was going to mention it. Yeah, track showing. And I mean, this big and bold. I said, girl, you run around here with that old glued in bullshit. A mess. I said, okay. All right. A mess. A whole mess. Bravo. Y'all a mess. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. And it showed for a good old long scene, a whole scene. They just kept on going back to, I said, for real? Okay, whatever. Okay, so dig this. Dig this. So, we never actually got to Britain's birthday party in this episode. In this episode, they decided to have like a little girls' cocktail party at the house. And they, Heaven was like, well, we want to do this. It'll be, nice and celebrate you all and that. And here, Jasmine jumped right on top. Was like, oh, no problem. I'll put it together. It's cool. She put it together. The party was everything. It was a cute little gathering. Really, really cute gathering. And I lived for Jasmine's little coat. She had this little lounging little jacket. It was real, real dramatic, real Mommy Dearest-esque animal print jacket. It was cute. Very, very cute. But anyway, they have this little party. This is when we met Kendra. Kendra is another doctor who came up in here. I don't really know what my take is on Kendra right now, but I'm going to go on and say this. Kendra, she looked a goddamn mess at that party. She did. And Heavenly gave it. It was, her confessional was shady. And then she was shady in person. But it just was what it was. Kendra just had a baby. She had a baby like 3 months before. But she had this little outfit on that was something that it just wasn't flattering. I mean, there ain't no other way to get around it. I represent for the big girl. I live for the big girl. I ain't got no problem with my curvy girls. That shit looked a mess. She had her stomach out. It was something that Britain or Quad or one of the smaller girls, ain't no big girl had no business with that bullshit on, with her stomach out like that. It just was, it was, what are you doing? And then it was satin and it was wrinkling up and that shit looked a mess. So, ain't no need to have no issue. If you that confident and you feel cool with what you got on, then it's cool. But don't be feeling no kind of way when nobody said look a mess, because it goddamn did. It was. I mean, whole stomach out, midriff with strings, like, and the strings draw attention to a flat stomach. That's what those kind of outfits are for. I don't. That shit looked a mess. Anyway, moving on. Couple minutes into the party, Heavenly just basically went for Kendra. I don't know why Heavenly did that. It no rhyme, no reason. It felt very inauthentic. It felt very Love and Hip Hop esque, and the reaction that you got was very Love and Hip Hop esque, kinda, sorta. Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna read Kendra in a minute too. So it is what it is. But they were talking. Kendra had some confessionals. She was talking about how people think that her last name is actually her husband because her husband is Asian and she is actually Cuban. The last name is actually hers, but it's, you know, it's different. People think it's his, and it's not. It's her. That's her maiden name. And I was like, yeah, well, whatever, no big deal. I didn't see the real big deal about it. Who cares? But anyway, Heavenly literally sat her ass over there on that couch, meeting this girl 10 minutes before. Let me take that back because I don't know what the timeline was. But this was the beginning of the party because everybody wasn't even there yet. Everybody wasn't even there yet. Imani and her group hadn't even gotten there yet. And so it still was very early on. Heavenly asked that girl, was her husband's penis small? And then she threw out the stereotype about Asian men not being well endowed. And Kendra was defending it and saying, you know, and you don't believe everything you hear. Stereotypes don't always, most of the time, they're not true. You know, and Heavenly just kept pushing, and told her, well, you know, I don't know, girl, you seem to be getting a little upset. It seemed like you got, like you feeling some kind of way. You feel a little insecure about your man, bitch. And that was it. Kendra was like, bitch. And she jumped up on Heavenly. She literally stood up on Heavenly and was like, I'll fuck you up. I was like, whoa. And it was like this whole thing. And she's like giving Heavenly all this. And Heavenly gave us very much of, honey, where are the security, honey? And she's laughing. She's going to say, I ain't getting ready to fight you. Heavenly. I know you playing your character, but when you do stuff like that, you do have to be ready that, you know, hopefully it won't happen, but it could really happen. And then they said that the girl was from South Central. It would have really been nothing for her to just rap you in the mouth. Like, that's what you deserved, actually, was for her to bust you in your mouth. Right at that point, I don't know you. You being hella disrespectful. Then you called me a bitch on top of it, and you don't even know me like that. She really should have given you, what, honey, right in your mouth. Right in your mouth. Your lipstick should have been all across her knuckles. But she's a doctor, and the truth of the matter is, Kendra, sit your ass down. You ain't nothing but big and loud. I don't give a damn where you from. You grew up wherever you grew up. You ain't nothing but big and loud because you sitting right next to Heavenly. All this jumping up and having your Love and Hip Hop moment, because that's what you had, was a Love and Hip Hop moment. You ain't about that life either, sis. Because if you was about that life, you wouldn't have jumped up and made a scene. You would have did a body turn, whack up, and you would have bust her in her mouth. You're not about that life, sis. You're not. You're not. You're not going to convince me that you about that life. You was about a scene. And it was cool. And this all felt very inauthentic. It wasn't giving me Married to Medicine. It was giving me very Mona. Very written up, like there should have been a table or a car in between y'all. You know how the Love and Hip Hop thing works. So it was very inauthentic. So I didn't really care for it. I was cringing at the time. Then I was embarrassed at how Heavenly, but then again, that's Heavenly. Heavenly starts shit. That's what she does. That's her character on the show. She started the shit, but that one was out there, Heavenly. That one was out there. And like I said, Toya was the one that was on her best behavior, like, whoa, wait a minute. You know? I was like, damn. Toya went with the foolishness. You know, Toya carries foolishness in her purse. Then, after that, they separate everybody out. By this time, you got Britain gets Kendra calmed down. I'm like, child, it's her birthday weekend, and this is what you got to do. Contessa was completely embarrassed when everything was going down. Like, oh my God, I done brought these folks here, and now y'all showing out. And they did all this. Then, after that, they went outside, because I thought Kendra was going to leave. She didn't leave. They talked to her. It's like, girl, it is what it is. Brittany said, you know, Heavenly's like that. She pushes a little bit. It ain't nobody fighting. We ain't doing all that. You do what you do. You stand up to her, say, cuss her ass out. You know, you cuss her out, whatever. Ain't no thing. Now let's go back up here. Kendra was together. Everything was cool. When they went back up, Heavenly apologized. She apologized. By this time, Imani showed up. Imani came in. She ain't had no interaction really with Jasmine since the last time they were filming. They don't mess with each other. And they made that very plain that they don't mess with each other. So it was cool. She came to the party. She brought 2 girlfriends with her. 3 girlfriends. Yeah, she had 3 of her girlfriends with her. And they came in. And Imani spoke to everybody. She didn't speak to Jasmine. Okay, so that made Jasmine feel some type of a way. And then Jasmine went into whiny ass bitchy Jasmine. And then she started throwing shots. Now, I'm fine with whatever, because Imani, you kicked that off. Y'all know I love Dr. Imani. But Dr. Imani, you kicked it off. You walked in the girl's house and you didn't speak to her. So, boo, you out of order. You out of order, and whatever she give you from that point, you got to either suck up or deal with however, because you was out of order. So you started that train. You started that train. Quad, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? She decided to make this speech, and in the speech, it brought up this whole thing with Imani and Jasmine and how they don't get along, and she just like, it was like there really wasn't an elephant. The elephant was in the room, but everybody wasn't looking at the elephant. And then Quad took it upon herself to point the elephant out. What are you doing? Because Quad, if they did that to you, you would have had a goddamn fit. You would have had a fit. So I didn't understand. I said, wait a minute. So is my girl playing a character now too? I'm gonna take this and put this with that this was what you was supposed to be doing. Because this was so not Quad to me. To be getting something started. And then in all of that, did she start with Britain? She started being very short with Britain. And her and Britain start like having words back and forth. And I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? You know, and it was this whole thing. What happens in Atlanta where Quad will start, you know, she gets a little long-winded in her talking, and the girls shade her, and she just blows them off. But her and Brittany ain't friends like that. So I think when Brittany blew her off, it was like, girl, what's with the speech? Then Quad just kind of was like, okay, she went into Patty mode, and she was taking shots, and they were like, I was like, what the hell is going on here? How is it that Heavenly and Quad is showing their ass and Toya is sitting there not doing nothing for a change, and Contessa's just like, why? Like, why? It was cringe worthy. All of it. It was cringe worthy. When Quad told Britain to, girl, shut up. When grown women just bust out telling other grown women to just shut up. I was like, did you think you was going to say that to her? She wasn't going to say nothing back? She told Quad, girl, you ain't running nothing over here. And she told her, and obviously neither are you. I was like, What in the hell is going on here? I don't know. I see. Child, I thought it was problematic. The last 30 minutes of this was problematic. It wasn't what I fell in love with the Married to Medicine LA show for. It wasn't. It wasn't. I mean, I do reality TV, so if y'all gonna be messy, it's cool. I just come in and sit down with a different mind frame, you know, to watch it. Y'all threw me off last night. Y'all threw me off last night, and I was very shocked and a little embarrassed at my good old Married to Medicine ladies from Atlanta. Y'all was starting shit. God and Heavenly, you two was starting shit. Y'all was acting funky. But whatever. And again, I'm just going to throw this out there too. There must have been a job that needed to be done, and the job is being done. We doing fake reality TV. That's cool. It's cool. I just got to sit down in a different mind space. But this wasn't the Married to Medicine that I grew to love. This was some old loving hip hop / loving Married to Medicine bullshit, which is cool. Still a fan, but y'all just gotta let me know where y'all gonna go. We gonna do authentic or we gonna do reality TV? Somebody send me an email or something. Tell me this what we doing. But yeah, cringe worthy. I still love y'all though, and I said what I said. I know somebody got the child. My folks gonna be letting me have it. I'm sure, cause y'all know they swear you never say nothing to Quad. Quad don't never do nothing wrong. Well, she was wrong last night. Okay, but they gonna tear me up. When I praise her, they tear me up. If I say she did something wrong, they tear me up. So, child, here I am, honey. Come on and get me. I still love y'all though, and I still love her, but she's out of order last night. Her and Heavenly. Anyway, I'm gone. I'll see y'all next week. My girls from LA is back. Child, the Atlanta girls are over there with them, and they carrying on. Let's keep watching. Later, y'all.